Welcome to the Spinning Our Gears podcast. As a reminder, the issues, views, and opinions discussed on the podcast are those of the hosts and their guests and do not reflect that of any department, agency, city, municipality, state, or country. All characters and individuals discussed on the podcast should be considered fictional for entertainment value. Blue Falcons, don't go getting it twisted. This show is rated explicit and listener discretion is advised. If you aren't cool with that, hit the X and find something else. We are on all major podcast and social media platforms. The best way to get a hold of us is www.spinningourgears.com. Without any further fanfare or ado, here are your hosts, Turk, Swagger, Erica, Kenyon, and this is the Spinning Our Gears podcast. Well, welcome back to the Spinning Our Gears podcast. I'm Turk, down below is Erica, and with us today are two very special guests from the Thin Line Rock Station, James and JJ. How y'all doing?
Good, how you doing?
Doing really good. I'm glad to have you guys on.
Absolutely, excited to be here.
Good deal. Erica, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm trying to decide right now if I should admit that I steal y'all's content all the time for Shadows of
Oh, that's you. we need to talk after the podcast.
Well, as everyone knows, obviously each of these episodes are brought to you by Risen Warrior Coffee, Millicor, and then these guys over here at the Thin Line Rock Station. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. And thanks to them, we have an influx of numbers, which has been very, very cool. So I want to thank you guys for that also.
Very glad.
So I think we just dive right into it. As my camera's moving and shaking, but we're going to dive right into it. I'd love to know a little bit about you guys. If you can give us a little bit of your background, then we'll get into the rock station.
Sure, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You're going first.
All right. Started my career in security. Went to law enforcement. Did a lot of things in law enforcement. Retired, left there, and went back to security, private security. So I've done pretty much everything you can possibly think of when it comes to security and law enforcement. I've probably done it, worked it, things like that. So, yeah, that's pretty much my extent. Okay. Yeah, that's in a nutshell.
You're a nut, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. Family of law enforcement, so that kind of got me started. Right out of the military, became an EMT, and then was looking for full-time firefighter positions. Didn't find any. Followed the family path, became a deputy sheriff, spent a lot of time there. Now I'm here and no longer in law enforcement. Now we are both becoming volunteer firefighters.
Right on. What general location? I know we can't give specifics, but what general location are you guys at?
Southeastern Ohio.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What year did you guys get started?
1990.
Okay.
In security or in law enforcement?
Give me both.
All right, security, yeah, I think it was 1991. I think I moved to Florida. And then in 1995, I went through the academy, the police academy.
Okay. Okay. And then how did you all meet?
We were doing a private security gig together, working special duty, and just hit it off.
Yeah.
Don't know why. Now people call us an old married couple. And
That's true. That's true.
Just started getting along and hanging out. And it was one of those, hey, I got 5 minutes to take a break. I'm going to go see where he's hanging out at. Go talk to him.
Right.
And it just grew and grew from there.
So, at what point did the conversation turn to, hey, we've got all this experience, and we've got these really great ideas. We're now going to put something into action. Like, how did that come about? How did the Thin Line Rod Station come to be? So we know how you guys met now, and you're brothers. How
We're
did-
brothers. Absolutely.
How can we help other warriors out there?
It was between a joke and a dare. We were having a bonfire, had a whole bunch of friends over, and we're talking about, the defund the police movement. The local fire department had no money for funding. It was just, everybody was kind of depressed, and it was one of those, turn the music up a little louder, let's all start having some fun.
Right.
And we changed the mood a little bit. And it was one of those, how can we take that and take it to the rest of the first responder community? And the only way was virtually have a radio station, play the music, crank it up, tell some jokes, and try to relate to people that way. And it was one of those, well, there's no way we can do that. That's expensive. We don't know how to do it. We don't know what we're doing. And it just slowly became like a hobby. And then it was one of those, oh, look, we got 10 listeners. This is so cool. We got 10 listeners. Then it was, we got 100 listeners. We need a business license. We need a business a website, and we need to start doing this officially. Then it's, oh, we've got 1,000 listeners.
Right.
We need an attorney. We need to start building all that, and it just is slowly grown on its own.
Yep.
Outstanding.
What? So when did the station start?
March of 21.
Yes. 21.
Okay. And then when did we get to? I guess when did we get to the point where we've got thousands of listeners and tens of thousands of listeners all across the world?
It took us all of 3 years to get where we're at.
Yeah.
And we learned by trial and error. We tried one thing, it didn't work at all. We got no listeners, and we switched it up like, okay, what else can we do? So, we tried something different, and that worked. And then we just keep doing that. We tried different things. We learned what fails, what works. And yeah, I mean, it worked out very well. So far.
And was this all organic through social media, or what did you guys have to put into it to get where it's at?
That's
now?
all
'Cause we
him.
know
You
how,
know what?
how finicky social media is.
He is our social media guru. I get on Facebook, and I'm a simple 10-year-old on Facebook. I look at the pictures, make a few comments. That's it. That's all I know how to do. But this guy, he can tell you, because
Well, it's not social media, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
As you know, anything first responder related is throttled. And that's an excuse to me. There's ways around that. There are pages that have 1 million followers. So we're still trying to fight that, but we also reach out directly to departments. Last month, we sent a letter to every sheriff's department in Idaho
and Florida.
and Florida. And we can just watch, because I can track all the listeners online and just watch. All of a sudden, we've got all these listeners in Idaho. And then they start telling, friends and neighbors and coworkers, and it slowly starts to grow from there. So it's been mostly organic, where we've reached out, gone to departments. We went to the Fire Department International Conference in Indianapolis, just trying to talk to people and spread the word there. Because social media helps. You have to have a social media presence, but that's not the way we've grown.
It took me, I still say that social media is the evil. I wish it didn't exist. But unfortunately, it does, and you have to use it. And my brain just can't comprehend all the little intricate, groups and this and that you have to be careful on. And it just, I don't have the patience. I wish it didn't have to be that way, but yeah, social media is the necessary, definitely you have to have it these days.
You put in all
And how
that
did
work.
you find, what's that?
I was just going to say, you put in all that work, make a meme, and someone comes along and just steals it out from under you. Post it to their page.
I'm kidding. He's kidding. You go ahead.
Must be a real bitch.
No, trust me, I've stolen yours and posted on our page if you haven't noticed too. So, yeah.
Oh, if it's mutual thievery, no criminal charges.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
At least some of us have the balls to hit the share button and give some credit where it's due. But
Right? Well, sometimes I do that. Sometimes I don't.
That's
But
the only
no,
thing I know how to do. I don't know how to steal shit. Shit.
I love y'all's content. I love what you're doing. So, we talked about this before on this podcast. We're growing in numbers. And I'm talking about we as in the people who have served, have worn the boots, had them on the ground, went through the shit, right? Managed somehow, come out the other side. And now
Right.
we're trying to help our brothers and sisters have maybe just a little bit easier time in their career based on our experience. Do you feel that you're accomplishing that with the Thin Line Rock Station? Do you feel like you're reaching out and sliding in stuff about mental health and how important
Um,
music is about hearing?
yes, I do. I think we are reaching people. I think people may have started to, oh, it's just a rock station for first responders. Let's tune in and listen. But then they start hearing the PSAs and the simple reminders to take care of each other, and that's where it starts for me. I mean, that's my part. That's what I love to do is get on there and be like, my finishing line on every episode is love each other, take care of each other, and as always, buy your dispatcher something pretty. Yep.
Never. Rule number one.
Take care of your
Absolutely.
dispatcher. Absolutely.
Take care of your dispatcher.
Yep.
So, have you guys experienced? There's kind of this little niche culture in law enforcement. We've all got our side hustles and our side gigs, but it seems like there's a welcoming group, and then there's that other group that's kind of, I don't want to say all about themselves, but they're not willing to go out and help out other first responders in their side gigs. Have you guys experienced that, or has it all been welcoming with arms wide open?
It's 70-30.
Yeah.
Okay.
My last name's Hathaway, and I saw a Facebook post from a Chief Hathaway that had a side hustle of taking SCBA tanks and helmets, turning them into lamps and selling them back to firefighters. And a bunch of people placed an order and never actually paid for them. So he was putting out a help message, and I'm like, I've got a way to help you. We made him a commercial and started airing it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you listen to our station, every single commercial we have is a first responder owned business, and we put those commercials up for free.
Yep. No charge.
And I think you and I had talked about that, I think earlier on, JG. I don't know if it was you that I had spoken with or if it was James. We talked about doing a commercial for Mission Ready Counseling, which is where my
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
practice is housed now. It's really hard for me when I run Shadows of the Bound. Like I'm a therapist now, so if I knew I could get away with it, I literally every post would be about mental health. These are the things that you can do. Here's tools. Here's some
Right.
techniques. That sort of thing. But I realized very early on that if I put too much of that out there, then people would back away because we all know mental health and shrinky dinks. We're like, about all that shit.
Yeah.
Try to keep Shadows of the Badge relevant. I try to keep it up to date, and then I use it as a format to occasionally slip in.
Right.
I'm not really sure. I decided I needed to do that with my hands when I said,
Hey, we don't judge. We don't judge. Okay.
"Honey, I was slipping in during the
Whatever works.
yeah." But it's true. We have to find that balance, and so
Yes.
I want to talk to you about. I wanted to ask some questions about how music has been beneficial for you.
Oh.
I was a cop for 15 years, but now I'm a therapist, and I specialize in treating veterans and first responders. And so, when I was at Warriors Heart working at inpatient, it's an inpatient treatment facility for warriors in Texas. I did a 2-hour group, and it was music therapy. And so I'd have every person in the group would write down a song that had meaning to them, and I would tell them, don't write this down just because you want to hear your
Right.
don't do that. Like, this needs to be a song that's important for you. And then I would use that because we'd play the song. And I would ask the person, would you be willing to share with the group what importance that music held for you? And there were some times where I really had to think about it. One particular person had written taps. I've got 77 men and women, all veterans, all fucking deployment trauma, and I played it. I decided to play it. And then we
Yeah.
spent the rest of that group processing because the entire group, of course, was affected by taps. So,
Oh, yeah.
but I teach them in that group, you can use music to alter your mood, or you can use it to feed it. If I'm pissed off and I want to get angry, I'm going to go find some shit that's angry, and I'm going to listen to it, and I'm going to feed that. But if I don't want to be angry, find myself starting to feel angry, then I can use music that actually helps to calm me down. So,
Right.
Music is, when I'm teaching a class, this is what I tell them. I just turned 54. There is a song, Rick Springfield's, I'm trying to think of what the name of it is right now, Jesse's Girl.
Mm-hmm.
When I hear that song on the radio, it immediately brings me back to about 11 years old. We were driving to the coast for a little mini vacation out at the Gulf. And it's just a memory. Every time that song comes on, I am 11 years old all over again. And I can almost, so that's how powerful music really
Yes.
is. And so it can be a very healthy tool. Of course, it can also be, everybody that knows me knows I'm in recovery. So there were songs that I would listen to, specific types of songs that I would listen to when I knew I was getting ready to get drunk. I was drunk, and when I was ready to just smash shit. So music is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It's an important tool. So how does that work in y'all's life? Like, you literally have a rock station now that's for
You have.
Hey, you. That's right. You looking at me, looking back at you through the little lens there. Or if you're not watching the podcast, if you're listening at home, are you looking for a cool t-shirt? Maybe a t-shirt to rep your favorite podcast, the Spinning Our Gears podcast, the one that I'm wearing right now. Do you want a cool t-shirt like that? Or maybe a cool vinyl decal to put in your car or your water bottle or wherever you want to stick it. That sounded wrong. Wherever you want to put that sticker. Do you want something cool like that? Then go to www.spinningourgears.com and click the merch link, the Spinning Our Gears gear link. That's where you find an awesome t-shirt just like this, as well as some vinyl decals and all sorts of cool stuff. You can also find the book, Imposters on the Throne, Warriors in the Shadows. You can find that at www.spinningourgears.com as well. Go, click that link, get some cool gear. You can listen to the podcast while you're doing it. Go get yourself some cool merch. All right, back to the show.
You have the hard job. See, you have to take a bunch of alpha males and try to put a little bug in their brain to say, if you need help, reach out. But man,
and they recognize that pretty quickly. And so
Good.
that once I tell them I've been a cop for 15 years, most of the guard comes
Thank you.
down. I'm going to refer to myself as a fucking shrink. I don't care. What I called them the majority of my life. Why should I change now just because, I am a fucking shrink?
And, I can answer your question by, if you listen to our station for more than an hour, you'll understand that the music is all over the place. And everybody's like, I can't believe you played the Beach Boys, then Slayer, then Johnny
Taylor
Cash
Swift.
song.
yep.
But what they don't realize when you first listen to it, every single one of those songs was someone's request. That's how it got added in. Because people will tune it in and then they'll post on Facebook, oh my God, I can't believe you just played Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. I'll never listen to you again.
Right.
But someone requested that. And it meant that moment to that one person and got them through their shift.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, we play stuff from all over the board, but that's why we play it. Because you never know who's listening, who likes what.
I say it's a station for ADD people.
Yeah, we
'Cause
have a
I
lot
have
of people
ADD, so-
say that, you guys are just like my playlist. It's all over the place.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if somebody's got a weird request, we're more than happy to play it. Whether it's sad, happy, we try to keep it upbeat most of the time, but if somebody needs something just to get them through that one day, that one shift, we'll put it on and play it.
That's beautiful. I do have one really important question to ask. When was the last time you played Funky Cole Medina? I'm wondering.
That's actually probably going to be played Friday. Friday nights, we do Friday flashback, 70s and 80s all night long. And there's a good chance you will hear some Tone Loc on Friday nights.
Tone low.
Oh no.
Hey, how did you guys make the connection with your listeners? Because it's not like a typical call in and talk to the DJ's radio station like you hear on FM AM, but you guys appear to have a really close connection with your listeners. How did you guys create that?
Just being there, it's taken me a very long time. I'm a very private person. I'm an introvert for sure. It took me how long to actually be able to talk on the radio, just to talk, instead of being like, hey, yeah, this next song, you know what I mean? So just to be able to get on there and have a discussion with myself, and hopefully, all that reaches people. I had I put out something. Am I the a-hole? I put out an am I the a-hole? Somebody sent in a request. And said, hey, am I the a-hole for this? So I'll read it over the air, and somebody actually left us, some messages on that. They were like, yeah, you're not an a-hole. That kind of communication back and forth is what keeps them hopefully telling their friends and hopefully coming back to us. Because, we do care. That's the thing. We want to see them succeed and survive and, grow. And hopefully we can send some more entertainment and laughter and fun out their way, and then they can send it back to us.
And the anonymity of social media helps. People can send a message without having to call in and be forced to answer a question right back, and they can just send a message, hey, can you play this? Or let me tell you a story about something happening on this shift. Something, and being open to that, and like I said, reading those on air from time to time, or just that communication that's completely off air. We've had those two in the middle of the night of, please help me, I'm going through it. You guys are the only ones I know who are up at 3 a.m. right now because I'm listening to you live on the radio. And being able to sit there and talk to them on the phone for half hour, 45 minutes, and get them through the shift. That helps.
Huge.
Absolutely.
And I kind of heard you alluding to it a little bit earlier. Do you feel like, so the rock station is really beneficial for others, do you find that it's also beneficial for your own healing process? God knows if we've done more than 61 of these professions, we've got some shit. Right?
Yeah. I definitely believe, my own personal healing, absolutely. There are songs that I put on there myself that when they come on, I love hearing them, I'm just instantly like, thank you,
Yeah.
So, there is a deep connection between music and, the mood and whatever,
Yeah, for me, it's something, when you have those dreams where you wake up and you're not going back to sleep, PTSD dreams, and it's one of those, I can turn on the radio station, I can go sit down, I can go live and DJ for a little bit and just talk through it, because I'm not going to go to sleep for a couple hours. So I might as well get on there, start talking, and sometimes share those experiences and what it is, and people, again, connect because they go through the same thing.
right?
Absolutely. So I know Turk is going to want to make sure we get in your information, but I'm hoping we kind of double up on that. If somebody wants to find the Thin Line Rock Station and they want to listen to it, what do they do? Where do they go?
You can either go to the thinlinerockstation.com or, better yet, download the app on your phone. Just go to your whatever, the Play Store or Google Store or Apple, and
This is one that amazes me. You go to our website, there's a big red button that says click here to listen, and people will still call, email, how do I listen to you guys?
there's like 14 ways to listen
there's
on our
a whole
website.
page, how to listen, breaks down how to listen on your Alexa app, how to listen on your every type of cell phone, and people will look at that big red button and can't click the big red button.
I'm those people. I'm sure Turk was pulling his beard hair out anyway. Difficulties on my end. I'm sorry, I'm 54 years old. Technology is not my friend.
Thank you.
No, I had to
Thank
laugh
you.
because James and I were just talking about that and how, it's like you've got it right there in the front of the website, and they still can't figure out how do we listen? How do we get a hold of you?
Yeah.
Like on Shadows of the Badge right now, because I can't. If somebody private messages me for whatever reason, I don't know what has happened. I haven't had time to look at it, but I can't reply back to private messenger. And so I've got people that are complaining. They're like, "How come I can't post a comment? How come I can't?" And I'm like,
Right.
I don't know.
Well, so our page can't reach out to other pages through private messenger.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is. It's blocked. But
I have no idea.
No page can reach out to any other page.
Nope.
yeah.
I hope you get it figured out.
So I've got a couple questions here. They're both going to be related to the fact that you guys have been involved in security and fire and law enforcement all over the board. This show is obviously about mental health and leadership. I'd love to know what mental health and what mental health services look like amongst those three parts of first responder world,
Well,
or what you guys have experienced, I guess.
Like I started back in the 90s, and there was none. There really hasn't been any until the past few years since I've been not as active. Now I'm becoming a volunteer firefighter, but that stuff wasn't there. at all. Everything was suck it up, keep quiet, move on, make a nasty, dirty joke, and push on through. If you can't, take that, get out.
Yeah.
So as I was leaving was when I started to see those things of, hey, there's a class coming up, hey, there's something, but really never got into it while I was still there.
Right. No, I'm about the same. When I went through the academy, mental health was not on the board at all. You just, whatever happened, you stuffed it down. Yeah, I had some very bad things happen on the job, and yeah,
But
Are
it's
you
good
guys?
because now
No, go
that
ahead.
we're doing this, we're running into all of these different people and different groups and different methods, and we're kind of reviewing what they are before we mention them online. We do a little bit of research. Have you heard the new DJ on Wednesdays?
I haven't
His
had a
name's
chance to. No.
Josh. He's from Foundation Fortified, and he does mindfulness for first responders. It's basically meditation. And he's got a whole new group he's starting. It's a whole new practice he's starting. No one's doing it, meditation for first responders. He's the first one doing it. And paying attention to what he's doing and how he's applying it, and he mentions little bits and pieces during the radio show. It's really interesting that you can just take a moment at a red light, calm yourself, breathe, get over that traffic stop you just did, and move on without carrying all of that with you. And he's got a lot of tips and tricks and stuff on how to do that. So learning those things is kind of one of those I wish I knew 20 years ago kind of thing.
yeah,
Meditation. There's a soundtrack out there, and y'all may have heard about it. I love to use it. I use it with my clients all the time. It's literally called, if you Google "fuck that meditation," it's an actual meditation, but it's got some humor infused in it, and it's friggin' hilarious. But it also, for people that are like, "Oh, I don't meditate. That's for weirdos, right? It's for tree huggers." Check out the "fuck that meditation" on Google. It's short, very soothing, and funny as hell.
sounds right up our alley.
Like social worker at your service. Check out the "fuck that meditation." I love it.
From your guys' experience, though, do you feel like one side of the profession is doing it better than the other, like fire over police, or are we all in the same boat?
I will say we're all in the same boat. However, we have way different experiences, way different trauma, way different PTSDs, same root, but different, different, I guess, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we're all in the same boat. We all, deal with a lot of the same things, the drama and the trauma. So yeah, I mean, we're all in the same boat. We're all one big happy family, ish.
Ish.
There's a big ish there, yeah. So then, okay, now we get into the leadership side of it. How does leadership look for both professions, or all three of them, or the lack of leadership or the downfall of leadership?
I guess that goes from department to department. I have seen some amazing. I have worked with amazing, people, and they understood. They cared about the people. They explained that they care about the people, and how they take care of their people was awesome. And then you have other departments that, well, you sneezed wrong, and I'm going to have to write you up now. You farted in the car? Oh, that's a write-up. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So I think, leadership is super important. The younger generation now that are starting to grow up in that profession and starting to get promoted, I think they're way more aware of like mental health and trying to get their people to doing the best that they can. I think that's going to be a really good key coming up in the next few years. Is you got a lot of these younger kids, man. Hopefully, they start moving up and they do the right thing.
And I think why people like you and Turk, myself, others of us that are out there, are realizing that things need to change, right? And so you've got old timers, we know that in the profession. I mean, I blocked one today. I had posted something about mental health, and he basically had a really ugly "suck it up buttercup" post, and I was like, "Fuck you, you're out of here."
Yep.
I'm going to deal with that, because that mentality is what's costing lives. So I will not let that shit sit on my tape. But it's important for those of us that have been through it, those old timers, those of us that have been through the shit and have kind of come out the other side. It's so critical right now that we educate the ones that are coming into the profession, because if the truth be told, this all is not going to change completely in our lifetime. But if you have a rookie, a little 21-year-old rookie, a little 18-year-old probie, and you start teaching them the importance of mental health and the importance of self-care, then what happens is that probie or that rookie in another 10, 15, 20 years is going to be in a leadership position and will be making decisions that are sound.
Yes.
Versus the old school party line, which is
absolutely.
Big dogs get off the porch. I mean, we've got all kinds of stupid sayings for it, but it's all shit. Eric has heard me say this before. I don't care how many years you've been in. I don't care what kind of rank you've achieved. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how much training you've had. At the end of the day, there's one thing that none of these professions can do successfully. They cannot train the human. So yeah, we go in there, do our job, we compartmentalize like crazy, but then that's why we have people dying within a year of retirement. Because they're left with all of these broken, damaged toys and memories from their 20-year service career, and they don't know what to do with it.
Right.
Because if we're not focused on the job, then our focus tends to start turning inward. I know that's what happened with me. I thought I was fine until I wasn't working balls to the walls all the time and realized I was a real shit show between my ears.
Yeah, it took me 20 years of therapy to get through it. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
I'm going to 2004. Yeah, 20 years.
You know, part of the other problem, though, is so you talked about the younger kids coming in, and this generation coming in is not a 15, 20, 25-year generation. They're focused on the right here and now. And as a profession, we've been playing catch-up for how many decades now, where we're starting to catch up with mental health, but right now we're so focused on the here and now, we don't think ahead of us. And so we're trying to lock these kids down into that 3 to 5 years and keep them longer, but then we're not thinking about past that with their entire career with mental health or leadership or anything like that at all.
It's hard. I mean, yeah, you get this younger generation in there, and I have met some that, like I said, are awesome, and I know they're going to do great, and they're going to go far in their department, and I hope they become the chief or the whatever, because that's how their mentality. And I have also met the opposite, that they didn't need to be there at all, but especially management. And I've had one that got promoted, and I was like, how? What blackmail do you have on the chief?
Exactly, yes.
Because something's wrong here.
We've all asked the question. There was an officer that got assigned to me, and I already knew his reputation preceded him, and it was not a good one. He was lazy. And Turk knows part of the story. He was just refusing to pull people over. You can't tell me I have to write tickets. I'm not telling you have to write tickets. I'm telling you have to enforce the traffic laws. How many tickets do you want me to write? We're not talking about quotas here, brother. I'm talking about you doing your job. And he just kept refusing to do it. And so I'm real creative. I am an alpha female.
I love it.
Of intersections, every intersection in my city, and every shift he had to come in and he had to time the red, green, and yellow lights, and he had to count how many vehicles were traveling north, east, south, and west. And that went on for about 2 weeks, and he came to my office and said, I'm tired of doing this. This is fucking stupid. And I said, well, are you going to start enforcing the laws and start writing citations when they need to be written? I'm not doing that. Well, here's your new intersection. So another week went by, and he came into my office with his head hung down. I'm going to write tickets. How many do you want me to write? Dude, seriously? Seriously, not going down that road. So, yeah, so I finally got him off my shift. And then I think he ended up getting fired from my department and then went to another department and got fired there. But he's the one, Turk, I told you about that went to the chief and said I was mean to him. Mm-hmm. 115 counts. Jordan's mean to me.
You scaring me.
Quit fucking up into your office. Quit fucking up. I don't like you us either.
Right.
Please.
It's not like this profession's tough or anything. It's not like it's a mean profession. James, I can't tell if you're holding your tongue over there, if you're just taking it all in. What do you have on leadership? I feel like there's a wealth of knowledge there that you're just waiting to explode with.
Let me pause and think. Part of it is And one I'm learning to adapt to is the younger generation is very different. We weren't that different from our parents. We weren't that different from our grandparents. But this new generation is very, very different. The society they're growing up in is different. They grew up thinking all cops are bad. That's the society they grew up in. So for them to start learning to enforce laws is not natural for them. Them doing the, ask, tell, make doesn't happen in their society. So leadership needs to find ways to adapt to this younger generation that's going to work and be effective, and I still don't know what those answers are. But hopefully there's somebody out there that's working on it, that's learning it, that's finding methods to get through to that generation, because they are so very different than everything that we're used to.
I think the big thing is, from what I'm seeing right now, is that this younger generation, when they get into law enforcement, it's because they want to have some sort of connection and impact with the community. So you almost have to sit down, and it has to happen on a first line supervisor level with sergeants, where you're sitting down with them and finding out who they are and what they want to do, and then getting them involved and letting them know that, yes, you may want to go out there and shake babies and kiss hands and hands out stickers and things like that, but you're going to have to also take reports. You're going to have to stop some cars here and there, just because it's the other side of it. Like, we'd all love to just go out and hang out in the park, but we can't do that.
Never mind. Go ahead.
No, do it. We got to hear it. We got to hear it now.
Do it. I sit here and watch videos. I put them up on my top screen, and I let them play as I'm working on something. Traffic stops and sovereign citizens and just shootings. Whatever comes up, it just let it play, and I listen to it. And his desk is across, and he'll come in and be like, "Why are you yelling? Who are you talking to?" I'm like, "The fucking screen." I'm like, it takes him 20 minutes to ask him to get out of the car. 20 freaking minutes. And I'm screaming, because back in the day, ask, tell, no, well, guess what? You're coming out. I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's how.
What's going on, everybody? Sorry to take a break from the show, but I was wondering, are you looking for some coffee to start off your day right? Maybe some protein to mix into that coffee or after your pre-workout? Are you looking for an awesome radio station to listen to when you're not listening to this podcast? Then I've got some places for you to check out. The first being RisenWarriorCoffee.com. You know them. You love them just like we do. They've been with us since the beginning. They've got all sorts of amazing flavors and some merch of their own to check out. www.RisenWarriorCoffee.com. Use the code Turk and Swagger at checkout for 10% off your first order. Then go to Millicor.com. If you go through SpinningOurGears.com first, you can click our merch website, our sponsor website. That'll get you to Millicor. You'll have a discount code from us as well there. And then, when you're done listening to this episode, go to the Thin Line Rock Station. That's right, that flag back there. Go to the Thin Line Rock Station. They've got all sorts of good music all week long. You can listen to me on Fridays at 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 Central. It'll be a good time. All right, back to the show.
Give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it used to be. Now, it seems more and more it's going the total opposite, and they're trying to communicate and be less aggressive, I'll say, intimidating, whatever. They're trying to take a little less of a, I don't know, a little more of a
national headlines for doing their damn job.
Yeah.
Right.
It's created. It's not creating. It has created in it. I watch the same videos, brother. I get it. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you? But
Well, they're getting sent to trainings, though, where the instructors at these trainings are giving them the wrong message. And they're saying de-escalation and verbal judo and CIT should work 100% of the time, that you should never have to go hands-on. Or you go to a training where they're telling you that Graham versus Connor is the 70%, it's just passing, and you should be trying to achieve the 90 to 100% where you never have to go hands-on at all. So they have that in the back of their head. They think they can just talk it out the entire way. And then they end up getting punched in the face, or worse, getting shot and killed.
yeah, that's what I think. I'm watching these, and I'm watching the officer, and I'm realizing with some of the videos that I've seen, like, they're stalling.
Yeah.
I think it's fear. I think they're afraid to take that next step in the force continuum because they don't want to lose their job, and they don't want to be called a murderer because they
Yep.
put somebody down that was trying to kill them or an innocent citizen.
Right.
Or
Do they
get written
even-
up.
Yeah.
I mean, they get raped.
yeah.
Media, they get raped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so
they-
grateful that there was some media influence with my first shooting, but it wasn't spread all over the internet. The internet didn't exist back then.
Right.
Now it does. And everybody is chiming in on what that officer should or should not have.
Yeah, that bugs me. You have the officers getting softer, and the people are getting harder.
Yeah.
They're
Very
realizing
much
they
so.
have they don't care. They have no limits. They don't. I don't give a shit what you want to pull me over for. Whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and it's something's gonna give. You know, this whole talk your way out of it. Do they even offer self-defense or any kind of physical restraint in the academy anymore? I don't know.
It depends upon the academy that you go to, right? And it depends upon how long they've had an organization in place, because it seems like the philosophy is kind of changing. Right now in the state of Iowa, we have a great defensive tactics instructor who's in
Nice.
charge of defensive tactics. And he's teaching hands-on, he's teaching jiu-jitsu, he's teaching striking, things like that. And he's doing very, very well at it. For them to be able to pass defensive tactics at the end of the year, they have to go through a full day of practicals, of actually going hands-on and showing that they know how to apply these techniques. The instructor before him, or at least a couple before him, when I went through, would show up 15 minutes late. We would strike a bag 5-6 times, and then he would say, go hang out in your rooms and don't be seen. This is the stuff that we're using every day, and that's how they're teaching. So it's really dependent upon the region and who they have in charge.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because I tell you, some of these kids look scared. Like you said, they look scared. Like,
Yes.
you know, oh, I got to wait for 14 more people to show up before I go hands on.
Well,
That
and
could be
what's
department
worse, you know,
policy.
That could be department policy.
it could be. It could very well be.
First responders are dying because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're costing their life, but they're kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place. I can see that. Like, if I take the right action and I save myself or I save my partner, then I'm going to be crucified and called a murderer, and all cops are bad, and my name is going to be dragged through the mud. My family's going to be, but
Yep. Yeah, I mean, somebody
Well-
asked us whether we wanted to go back to the academy. They're like, you want to go be a cop again? Hell no. Hell no. I'd be fired like the second day. He'd be like, you dragged someone out of a car. Yeah, I did. He said no. I said yes. I won.
one warning, take action.
Absolutely.
Now it seems like it's warning, warning, more warning, warning, warning.
Well, and you know, an example of that, so, and the mentality that you talk about is, as a DT instructor, I went down to help out with that practical one day. And generally these kids are allowed to be in groups of 2 and 3 to address the bad guy. We had one kid that he was a member of a 4-person department. He was maybe 5'7" and 115 pounds soaking wet, and he just didn't get it. He would be the last one in every single time. And we asked him, how many people work in your county? And he said, some nights I'm the only person in the county. Man, when you go to a bar fight, you're going to need to learn how to take care of yourself and deal with things, because you by yourself can't be the last one in. You're the only one there. And he just could not get it through his head. That's where we're at right now with law enforcement. And it's scary and it's sad.
We had probably, I don't know, about 4 years ago, we put on a class, defensive tactics, was firearms training. We had the Red Man suit, and we put these kids through hell. I mean, these kids, and some of them you can tell have never been punched in the face. You put them in the wall and they just freeze. They're like, holy shit, I don't. What am I supposed to do right now? Like, fight. Well, how? You know what? Stick your finger in my eyeball. That'll do
Yes.
it. I'll back off. I'm
Yes.
done.
Bro,
Okay.
nose.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many options, and yeah, it didn't click up here. Like you said, it just didn't click.
Use of
So-
force will never be pretty. It will always be ugly. And I guess we have to change the citizens' minds with that and have them realize that before we can have the cops realize it too. But hopefully we're getting there. Hopefully we can keep optimistic and we get to that range. But
But
as
the
we
ones
start
that
to
are-
wrap up. Oh, go ahead.
they're the ones that are demanding that police are nicer, but they're the ones suffering
Mm-hmm.
the consequences of not having authority on the streets and taking care of crime.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
when your local officers go hide in the back of the church parking lot every day, don't get mad at them that you got, robbed at the gas station. Because that's what you demanded. You don't want them getting in somebody's face and being authoritative.
Some places don't even want them in the gas station either. No, we don't want your business here. So,
Right.
okay.
Our day, yeah, free security. Come on, get hot dogs,
Absolutely.
get coffee. 3 o'clock in the morning, you're keeping my clerk safe from getting robbed.
I think, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, is that the majority is not the same as the loudest person in the room. I think the loudest person in the room are the ones that don't want us using force, but the majority are the ones wanting us there, enforcing laws and keeping that security, like Erica talked about.
Yeah.
So, as we start to wrap up, I have a fun little game to play that
Okay.
Erica and James and JJ get to be a part of. I don't have to answer the questions because I'm the one asking them. But
Hey, I call bullshit too.
because we're talking to the Thin Line Rock guys, and you guys are all about music, your station is obviously a music station, I want to know, I've got a few different categories here, I want to know what the best song for these categories are, and I have them written down. What is the best song for working out?
I don't work out, so I
Sure. Worked out.
don't know. It's gonna be something headbanging. I don't know.
Okay.
Hell,
All right.
I'm going old school Survivor. Eye of the Tiger.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, I don't.
Well-
yeah.
Okay, all right. How about what's the best song for just overall patrol?
I can't drive 55. What can I say?
Okay.
Little Van
I
Halen
still
in there.
like Bad Boys, don't you?
Exactly. I
Okay,
throw
so
in
I
some
Can't Drive
NWA.
55 and Bad Boys. I like it. What do you think is the best song for your overall mental health? I know Erica covered a lot of that, but what would you guys listen to if you're having just a shit day and you need to bring it back up?
Honestly, I think it changes. For me, depending on, like, today was a bad day for me, to be honest. Earlier was a really bad day. Had some stuff going on, but a song hit me and it almost instantly changed my mood. So I guess it depends what kind of mood I'm in. If I'm super sad, I'll put on some Tori Amos or, Sarah McLachlan or some. Yeah, don't look at me like that. He knows. I know. I'm sorry. When I'm in that mood, a female voice just soothes me. So,
No time waiting.
there you go.
What about you, James?
I'm going to go old school, put on Prince's Purple Rain.
Yeah, good choice.
You
Yep.
can tell there's a definite generation difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that'd be one of the ones.
How
Yep.
about you, Erica?
So the whole department knew I did this. It was like an inside joke. Anytime, so I would usually, if I interviewed pedophiles, I would normally do it non-custodially because it's easier to get them to talk to you. I'd go back and arrest them later. Trust me.
Right.
But I would do non-custodial interviews, and so I had so my nickname at the Bell County District Attorney's Office for many years was the Confession Queen. I was really good at getting confessions out of these pieces of shit. So I would get the confession, and as I'd walk the person up to the front. Now, if they were in the Army, I'd show up at their unit the next day. Hey, I got a warrant for David Smith for aggravated sexual assault of a child. Anybody know where David Smith is at? Can you point him and that kind of thing, right?
I'm offended. Sorry.
This is what I'm saying on the way back from every one of them. Another one bites the dust.
Ah, okay.
Oh, I got a story about that song.
Oh yeah. Wait.
Yeah. Not a good story though. Not a great story. It was one of my first deceased people I had, and we went down to the morgue, put him in the fridge, and as I turned around, that's what I sung. I was like, another one bites the dust, and then it hit me. I was like, oh shit, that's dark. Like, oh, that's dark. I'm gonna stop
But
that.
that's our Facebook post today, this morning. What's the best song to play in a cruiser taking somebody to jail?
There you
And,
go.
yeah, everybody's comment, I fought the law won, no one bites the dust, something. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, what about rolling up to a fire? What song do you want playing in the rig as you roll up to a fire?
Burning down the house. Sorry. No.
I'm going to go AC/DC Thunderstruck.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Get pumped up. It's time to move. Yep.
All right.
Okay. Well, now this is the last one that I have. What is the right song to have when admin calls you into the office to give you that old minivan?
Oh God. What's the shit song? The worst song you've ever heard of? Shoot.
I'm gonna go with Ice Cube's "It's a Good Day."
Yeah,
And I'm gonna go with NWA. Fuck the police.
I like the little bird guy from like the late '80s, early '90s. I'm gonna kick your ass. That one.
We play
Okay.
that one.
All right.
Yeah, we play that
We
one.
play that one.
I like
Going
it.
to kick
I like
your
it.
ass.
Erica, do you have any other questions before we get these guys out of here?
JJ, I definitely want to talk to you about getting that commercial up and running. If you're
You
still
got it.
open to, or yeah, that would be awesome. We can talk about that though, podcast. So
Okay.
Perfect.
Alrighty. So please tell us again how we can get a hold of you guys, how we can listen to you, and where to go.
You type in the Thin Line Rock Station. We are what comes up all over the internet. You type in first responder music, anything like that. We're the only ones doing anything like that. So every Google search, Bing search, whatever, we are easy to find. Click on us. We got links all over on our website. We got the links on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, all of them. We're there. The Thin Line Rock Station. We're easy to find, easy to listen to.
Easy to download.
You're just easy.
That's true. I am easy.
You
But
can
are-
also. Oh, go ahead.
but are you cheap?
No.
Tell people you're cheap, which is what I do most of the time. I'm just, I don't care.
I'm easy, but
Well-
it'll cost you.
Nah, I'm easy and
The-
cheap. I don't care.
See, the radio station's free, but the date is not.
Right.
Yeah.
We also have a link to these guys on our website, spinningourgears.com. They're under the sponsors section. Feel free to head that way if you want to find it that way. I got to thank you guys again, though, seriously, because not only have you helped us to get our message out there, you've given me a different kind of voice on Fridays where I hop on and I have my 2 hours. It's kind of a de-stress and a relief, which is pretty cool. But then just the stuff that you guys have done for us and getting us out there. I had someone reach out to me from Australia saying that they picked up my book. And knowing that somehow my message has gotten all the way across the world
Yeah,
is
that's-
huge.
yeah.
Yeah,
Very,
we've got
very cool.
listeners all around the world. We've got them in, New Zealand's been the latest.
Mm-hmm. We even have commercials for a gentleman in Great Britain or
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
So
So very cool.
I
If
just
you
gotta
guys
say,
aren't
y'all. Sorry, thank you. You guys have been awesome, and I guys got to say, for the record, mental health is very important. Okay, no matter how you take care of yourself, no matter how you wanna deal with your mental health, you have to deal with it. Because if not, it's gonna bite you in the ass.
Yes.
That's it.
And I'll follow that up. There are people out there just like me. I'm not the only one. There are people out there that have had boots on the ground that realized there was a whole population of people that whose mental health was not being seriously. They are now providing those mental health services.
Yes.
So if
definitely
you guys
important.
are not listening to us and getting your mental health fixed with us, do it to the Thin Line Rock Station because they are a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week operation.
That's all right.
And if you want a DJ,
Yeah.
you want to see what Turk's doing, we've got some
Get a hold-
spots still open. Yeah.
Get a hold of JJ and James because they will get you set up, and it is very easy. I can attest to that from someone who just picked it up out of nowhere. It is very easy to do. So,
Absolutely.
all right, guys. I do want to thank you for coming on, and I want to thank everyone at home for listening, for tuning in and watching and listening. Please head over to the website, see everything that we have going on, and everything that Thin Line Rock Station has going on. Stay safe. We'll get to this together.
Bye now.